Hi, I'm Ben. I'm a certified home inspector, and we're going to inspect this house. And we're going to inspect this house and give the homeowner really valuable information about how the home works, and we're going to find problems, if there are any, and tell them how to fix it. Every home should be inspected by a certified home inspector so that we can keep our homes safe, functioning, and healthy. And another good reason is to catch small problems before they become too big to fix ourselves. So today we're going to inspect this home, and I've got my tool bag here, and I also have another home inspector because I need help. And his name is Michael Ozborne, like Ozzy Osbourne, from Ozborne Home Inspections. Thanks, Michael, for being here.
Yeah, thank you. Glad to be here.
Michael, you are a North Carolina licensed home inspector.
Yes, sir.
And you're a certified by InterNACHI home inspector.
Absolutely, yes, sir.
And you've been performing inspections for a while. You've also been a builder and contractor for many years.
Yes, sir.
So not only do you know how to inspect them, you know how to build them.
Well, it gives me a good insight and a quick reminder of what to look for, and notice. But yes, sir.
And you're based out of Raleigh, but you'll travel around North Carolina?
Yeah, I'm actually from right here in Fuquay-Varina, Holly Springs. But yeah, I do Raleigh, Durham, Fuquay, Henderson. It doesn't matter. North Dakota,
Yeah, you'll travel.
Sure.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Well, thanks for helping me out inspect this home. And let's see, so we're at the beginning of the inspection.
Yes,
Where
sir.
do you start?
When I come up to a house, well, this is a townhome, so it's it's got the backyard is small as well, but you got to go through the house.
Yeah.
And I take a look at everything, the whole picture, just to get familiar with what I need to do, what I need to look at.
Yeah.
And then I'll start usually with the foundation,
All right.
the groundwork, the foundation. In this case, it's all right here, so I do the steps, the porch and gutters, everything right here.
All right, let's begin.
Okay.
All right, Michael, I see you're inspecting the handrail.
Yep. And
Is it a little wiggly?
yeah, it's a little wiggly. Some things are loose that need to be, and it's again a safety. If somebody stumbles or trips, the handrails is to grab and hold them up so they not fall. And being loose, it might be a step away from tipping over. So anyway, that's going to be same both sides. Easy to fix, but I got to let the homeowner know that, hey, that's an issue. Yeah,
because if you're falling, you really want to grab onto something, and you don't want that thing you're grabbing onto to be loose.
100% safety.
This is a common thing.
It is.
It's not a big problem, but it's a safety item that really should be tightened up.
And safety is a huge part of the inspection.
Yeah.
Defects are too, but we look at the stairs, the risers, the height and consistency.
For
tripping hazards are again a big.
Do you see anything here? They look pretty good.
They do.
Pretty uniform all the way up.
It's uniform.
So I noticed that there's some mortar joints.
Some mortar missing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just some minor maintenance that needs to be done. Not a big deal.
No, sir.
Okay. And it looks like the pathway going to the front entry, the egress. No trip hazards.
No trip hazards. Things are designed and built also on a very small slope for drainage purposes. So water doesn't sit. That again to create problems.
Yeah. Now speaking of water, what about the downspouts coming from the roof?
Downspouts.
You want that diverted away, right?
Yes, you want it diverted away. And I was looking at that when we were talking earlier at the downspout over here. I'd like to have them a couple feet away from the house, but it's going on a slope.
Yeah.
So the water is not going to regress even in, it's got the stool there, and so no, I'm okay with it.
So what kind of foundation do we have? This house is built on a basement or a crawl space?
It's a crawl space.
Okay.
You can see with the foundation vents.
Yeah.
The crawl space is going to be on the back side.
Okay. So we don't want any water to go into the crawl space, so we want all those downspouts.
Yes, away from the house. The water is the home's biggest enemy.
Yep.
And a lot of times we see the downspouts just ending right there with no sloping at all, so all the water will accumulate at the foundation.
Yeah.
And then after a while, it just creates a huge problem.
Yeah.
An expensive one.
And water sometimes causes wood rot.
Yep.
And so we're going to be looking for anything that's made out of wood to see if it's rotten. And did you see anything?
I have not at this point.
Yeah. How's the brick? How's the brick look to you?
Brick looks good. As we were standing back in the back, and as I'm walking forward, we look for cracks.
Yep.
The inspectors look for vertical cracks, horizontal cracks.
And a crack can indicate
different things. A vertical crack is probably a little bit more normal and less problematic than a horizontal crack.
Yeah. Horizontal crack means like something is pushing.
More, and more foundational. The whole thing. Yeah. Exactly.
Yep.
Vertical crack is settling. Settlements. That's going to happen.
Yep.
So.
Yep. And what are these holes here?
These are the weep holes for the water for drainage.
So if water gets behind somehow,
water condensation. There's various anything, but it's a weep hole to drain water so it doesn't sit back and cause again water damage.
So for the homeowner to know, not every hole should be sealed up.
Exactly.
This hole should be left there. Right?
Leave those holes there.
And it looks like there's some screed there, some wires there to prevent insects.
Yes.
That's nice. Sir? That's nice. And do we turn these on?
Turn those on. We check for this antifreeze, and this is leaking a little bit right through here.
Yeah, it's leaking at the top.
Yeah, usually it's a gasket. That will be written up on the report, and we give you on the software we use for the report an option to replace and repair, and give you actually the amount for it. But that's real simple.
And this is like a homeowner can do this. You don't need a master plumber.
$4.
Yeah. Yep. So it's a good weekend project.
Yeah.
Yep. And these are the vents for the crawl space.
Those are the crawl space vents.
Similar to the weep holes, where you want to keep them open.
Keep them open. Keep the air circulating so nothing gets stagnant, moisture, and all that stuff, so it breathes.
Yeah. And as we look up, how are you going to check out the roof?
Well, I have a fun little camera behind you.
Yeah. You want to tell me all about it?
Okay. This is a pole cam. We try to stay off the ladders, but the best inspection is to be there and to have eyes on it.
Yeah.
But obviously, when you're talking something like this,
can't see it from down here.
It's a little difficult, and the ladders are tough.
So while Mike is putting his camera on the extension pole, I noticed that the lintel above the window is made out of steel. And what we do as home inspectors, we take a look at the left and the right, because over there at the left and the right, the lintels are sometimes exposed, and when the steel or iron exposes itself to the weather, it swells up and rusts, and it will push up on the brick and crack it. The good thing is there's no cracking, so everything's going really well here. I see a little bit of rust on the bottom of that where it's painted white, and that could just be touched up. We don't want any more rust, because rust makes things swell, so we don't want to do that. So just painting that is a typical homeowner kind of stuff. And also, speaking of painting, maybe a little bit of paint here, just a touch up, some white paint, just to protect this wood exterior here from the water. Water makes the wood rot and makes the steel rust and swell. And then, speaking of water, making sure that all of this is sealed up with silicone. Where the window meets something else, there should be a bead of silicone so that it's waterproof. We don't want wind-driven rain to go in here and cause water problems inside the wall where no one can see it. And I see we have an exterior receptacle, electric plug, and all exterior receptacles should be protected by a GFCI. That's a ground fault circuit interrupter, and it's supposed to interrupt the electric supply to this if it senses you're getting shocked. And I have a little tester here. So I put my tester in the receptacle, and it's wired properly and it's live. And to test it, I'll push this little button and electricity should turn off. And it does. So inside there's a reset button, and we have to find it and push it back in. Sometimes homeowners don't even know that exists, and they're like, well, this receptacle is dead. We have to hire an electrician. It's really just a GFCI reset that's needed. Now, when I took a look at this here, looks like we need some help with this cover on the electrical receptacle. It's a little loose, and water can get in there, and water and electricity don't mix. So we need to tighten this up and seal it back up. It looks like maybe a couple screws. Another home maintenance issue, but it really is important because somebody could get shocked here. So we need to tighten this up. So Mike, what do we have here? We have a big pole, a big stick.
Yeah, there's a lot on the market. This one it's easy, it goes out 30 foot.
Wow.
So but it's easy. It's not difficult to maneuver.
Yep.
Good place.
You've got your phone here.
Phone here. I'm looking at the picture, and then I'm taking the pictures.
How are you looking at the phone? How are you looking?
Boom.
So you have a camera at
There's
the
a
end of
camera
the
at the
pole.
end.
Oh, and it's connected with Bluetooth or whatever that is.
Yes,
That's pretty fancy.
So I'm looking inside the gutters right now as we speak.
You see anything?
It's clean. No, clean as could be.
No tennis balls?
No.
No leaves?
No, it's like a snake. No. In the back there was, I went ahead into the back earlier.
Yeah.
Back we have issues.
Yeah?
Yeah, because he's got it, talking to the HOA, I've talked to him about that. He's got a big tree in the back that's clouding up a lot of it. That's making issues. The homeowners, it's their job to cut it.
Yep.
And trim them.
Okay.
The roof also is the homeowners. It's the association.
Association
They
takes
take
care
of the
roof.
roofs.
Yeah.
And so I'm still inspecting it to let him know, peace of mind or whatever.
Yeah.
But when they purchased these condos, he had told me they also put in an extra X amount for all the roof maintenance, replacement, whatever.
Yeah. So that's a really good point that you made. Even though it's covered by HOA, doesn't mean you're not going to have any problems. Someone still has to take a look.
Right.
To see what's up with the roof and the gutter and the drainage system. Just because it's covered by HOA doesn't mean you're not going to have problems. You
That's
still
correct.
have to maintain it.
A lot of people think, hey, it's covered. They don't look at it, and then the next thing you know, they know there's a problem because they see the water dripping above their head in the bed or whatever.
And that's
There's
too late.
Issues, yes.
It's too late. You want to catch problems when they're small before they become too big.
Catch problems. As a home inspector, we look at signs, evidence of issues going to happen or has happened.
Yeah, and not everybody has this.
No.
That's awesome.
So, but that's
great.
we just go up and again we take pictures, and that just saves a ladder. And once the pictures are taken, we can zoom in as we're taking them, or later zoom in to get an actual shot of everything.
Yep.
But anyway.
And you're going to give those pictures to your client?
They're put on the report, yes, sir.
Fantastic.
Actually, a lot of times, I'll put at least one picture or two. If there's not an issue, I'll keep them off the report just to not clutter the report.
Yep. Sure.
Verbally, hey, we saw the pictures, everything is good. That's all they care about. So.
But if there is a problem, there's a big hole in the roof.
Absolutely. I've seen with this a big 4-inch, 4-inch hole in the roof at one point, and the home was 2 months old.
Oh, so a brand new home.
Brand new.
Had problems. Yep. And no one knew about it until you got it inspected.
Yep, nobody knew about it. Everybody walked around it, walked past it, never saw it, never looked at it.
Yep.
Because whatever.
They just assumed it was a new roof. Can't have any problems.
Yeah.
But that's not true. Let's take a look at this camera here. So what do you have here? There's a camera and it has a light on it.
Yep, it's got the light. Let me hit this. Big fingers are hard there. Turn it on.
So it's a ferret.
Ferret tools are a very good brand.
Yeah.
And just charge it. Charge isn't hugely long, but for a roof, it's enough time.
So it's not just for going vertically. You can actually stick this in a crawl space as well.
Crawl spaces, people don't realize that, but thank you for bringing that up. Yeah, exactly.
And in the attic.
There's a lot of places that some people don't like to crawl into because of the limitations.
I don't like to do that.
And so
I like this.
Yeah. You can just even that extension. You make it real quick.
That's great. That's good service.
That's the dryer vent.
And it's clogged.
That's one of the things we do look at the exterior.
Yeah, that's no good.
No, and what happens is the lint gets cluttered, and it just next thing you know, it's clogged. The air can't come out. It will back up and
could cause a fire.
It could cause a fire.
Yeah.
Yes. This stuff is very flammable.
So every homeowner should be checking the exhaust vent.
Of the vent. It's very simple.
Yeah. And actually, it's clogging because this is
not
actually
coming out.
Yeah, they're not. All dryer vents shouldn't have anything in front of it. It should be an open, clear vent, free and clear.
They
so it
make
doesn't
these
get clogged.
for cosmetics, so the homeowners, it makes it look better. However, and the act is the air is supposed to push that open, but as we see, it doesn't happen like that.
No, it causes clogging.
It causes absolutely.
So this is an easy fix, but again, it's a fire hazard.
It is a fire hazard, and
as
you said, it is an easy fix. When you're going to the Home Depot to get the freeze faucet for the faucet, you pick one of those up.
Pick one of those.
$11 is going to cost you total.
Now it's safe.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Now we're safe, and we got the
Yeah.
And that's it. Now we'll go on the inside. The gutters, again, we look at the gutters,
Yep.
the windows, the frame, the water, the rails, the stoop, the stairs. And one of the issues as we're looking at the front and all the water spots, the brick, is the clean out. It's solid, but it's at an angle. And I don't know why it's an angle. We can look at every other one, which they're going to have a clean out. That's you have to, but they're vertical, they're straight. This one is at an angle, and we don't know why, and it could cause an issue. There can be several things that could attribute to this being at an angle and not vertical. If you dig it up, that's not that deep, and you get right to the trap, and it can be corrected and put vertical where it should be. But again, that's one of the things we're going to put in the report for the homeowner to know.
All right. I love this kind of work because I don't have to go in the crawl space. I got my buddy, Michael. He's coming out of the crawl space. Woo! Good job, my man.
Okay.
Good job. Hey, you inspected the entire crawl space. What did you see?
Yes, sir. Actually, it's it's a tight fit for. It's tight fit, but it's very clean. This was a good crawl space.
Yeah.
Vapor barrier all intact. It's
yeah.
a pier and beam foundation. We look for water again, the intrusion, the number one, where it comes in. If it comes in, we look for water staining, which gives us a direct area to further inspect.
Yeah.
We look for the insulation, of course.
Yeah.
Insects, blah, 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 blah. But again, water being the number one, that's what we look for.
Any structural problems?
Structural problems, no. We look at the pier and beams, the beams, make sure everything is sitting where they're supposed to.
Yep.
Make sure the seal plate, we lift up the insulation a little bit, look at the seal plate, which kind of the foundation of the construction.
Yeah.
And
any water leaks, like from toilets or plumbing leaks?
No.
Okay. So it's a really good crawl space.
Very good. Again,
that's
water comes up from up and down, so we the trailing, it leaves a sign, and didn't see anything.
While Michael is cleaning up after the crawl space inspection, I'm taking a look at the garage, and it's the same roof as the house roof, same age, same condition, same problems. On the back side of the house, we have an adult tree in contact with the roof and the house, and it's in contact with the roof of the garage as well. So we've got trimming that's needed. We can't have a tree in contact with the roof. The roof isn't made out of concrete. It's made out of these flimsy asphalt shingles that can be ripped during a windstorm. Imagine a heavy tree limb just ripping and tearing apart the tree, tearing apart the roof. So we need that tree to be trimmed back so that it's not in contact with the roof or the house. So right now, there's a bunch of stuff in the gutter. It's clogging the gutters. There's a lot of things that are needed to be done. And it's beyond a typical homeowner weekend job, because you need an arborist or a contractor to come up and do some trimming. Now, the garage structure, this is a detached garage, and what I like to see is what Michael talked about, a sloping away of the ground so that water doesn't go towards the structure, it goes away from the structure. And this is really good. And we look for anything that could rot, right? So the bottom of the wood of the garage door needs to be inspected. The top corners for the lintel, this is the steel beam that holds up the brick above the big expanse doorway. That has to be in good shape, and it needs to be painted because there's some rusting going on. And as we wrap around this way, we can see that there's sloped sidewalks. We want that water to go away from the structure. And we have a rear patio as well. We want that patio to be flat, no trip hazards, but slightly sloped away, and it is. It's slightly sloped away, and there's Michael there. But here's an issue over here, talking about water, where Michael just came out of the crawl space. This is a low spot in the landscaping. It's at the same level as a crawl space. I think that's why they have it, because that's the neighbor's crawl space access. So they dug it down. The problem with that is it's a low spot for rainwater to come in and just puddle up here. So this isn't the greatest idea. And I'm not sure what the solution would be, and that's not our problem. Our challenge as a home inspector is to find problems that could cause water intrusion, for example, and tell that to the homeowner. Give them valuable information so that they can make a smart decision about what to do next. Here's an easy fix. This downspout here should not be discharging water down here in this hole. We can cut off the downspout short, continue with the bend up here, and take it down the driveway. So that's one way we can get hundreds of gallons of water out of this hole. So that's an easy fix. Is there anything wrong with the gas meter?
No, sir.
No?
We look at the...
So that's the main shutoff valve.
The main shutoff valve is right there, correct.
At the gas meter. If there's a problem with the house, the plumber, the fireman, the
channel
homeowner,
locks and
turn that
certain
off.
wrench turns it right off.
Yep. And here's another water faucet.
That's another water. I've already checked it. That one's working as intended.
Okay. And this is a fireplace.
The fireplace for inside. Yes, sir.
And this isn't the big chimney stack. This is the direct vent.
Direct vent.
Combustion air goes in and exhaust gases come
out.
And you want to check to see if there isn't any bird's nest in there or
do they like
any rust or corrosion.
They like the harbor in there.
Yeah. Yep.
Again,
so that
fire
looks okay.
hazard.
Yep.
But then again, after the fire, you get chicken.
Yeah. And what about here? I noticed that there could be a little problem with the steps because
the steps, it's an open, and this is higher than it should.
Yeah. So this is higher than this.
It's a tripping hazard.
Which is higher than that. This is short, medium, and really tall. So
it's a tripping hazard.
Yeah.
And that's, noted that the first time.
Yep. Once you go back and forth a few times, the homeowner...
After you trip a few times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But a brand new person, maybe a friend comes over for the first time, you got to tell them, hey, watch the step.
Watch your step, yep.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay. What else do you see?
Again, the doors. It's got again, the water flows. It's, you look for evidence, water stains, which, if it's not, obviously, if water isn't there as you're doing the inspection, but stains will be the tall tale. So I see this, but that's recent water, but it does have a flow, so the water flushes down. We got the condensing unit outside.
Okay. So this is the HVAC system.
HVAC, correct.
And it's an older unit, probably original to the house?
Probably so.
Yep. Yeah. And we'll kick it on with the thermostat?
We will do that.
And make sure
we just make sure that it's free and clear.
Yeah.
A lot of people have bushes around it which clog, and it creates issues.
Yeah.
Very easy. Just keep it clean so the air can come in and come out and freely.
And it should be on a nice stable base.
Nice
and
cement
level.
pad is good. Yes, stable is again key word. Level.
And I noticed the foam insulation on the refrigerant line.
Refrigerant line's got the the black foam insulation. You want to make sure that is always covered. A lot of times, again, it's a simple $3 fix. If you see it torn, just
like
go
that.
down and like that, and you can buy a 10-foot roll, whatever. It's all you need is 2 foot, and then cover it to keep it insulated.
Yeah.
It's very important. You got the condensate drain next to it. Again, very important. A lot of times the drain is right next to the house, and it's not a lot, but after time that water again accumulates right at the foundation, and again, little by little, but little by little times 5 years is a lot.
Yeah. And this is the electric meter.
Electric meter.
It's secured to the house, and it's locked, so nobody can get in.
Underground cables.
Yep. So the electric line from the street comes up, and then there's a panel probably
right
on the
behind
other side of the
wall. Right inside the little utility where the actual water heater is.
You got the cable and the phone and things like that. We really don't.
No, we don't inspect that. No.
That's for the cable people.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let them do that.
All right. And so the electric panel board is in here. All right. We'll do that next. While Mike is taking a look at the electrical panel, I'm doing the rest of the exterior, and I see wood rot or indications of wood rot. And I know it's indications because it's swelled up. So wood swells up when it gets wet for a very long time. So right there's some swelling. You can see where the end of the wood probably wasn't primed or sealed. It has wicked up moisture and has swelled, and so that's an area of home maintenance item right there. Some wood rot.
One of our jobs that we do is take off the dead front cover, which is the electric panel cover, what exposes all the wires for all the electrical system. And we basically look for the wire size, making sure that the conductor, the wire size is the right size for the circuit breaker, that it's 15, 20, whatever, to make sure it's the right size. We look for any evidence of sparking, which are black marks and stuff like that, water, loose wires, and that's it. Just real quick, go through it all just to make sure everything's safe.
All right, so we're in the garage, and there's just a few things that I do in the garage. I take a look at the floor, the walls, and the ceiling. The floor has a crack, and there's two types of concrete. There's concrete that cracks and concrete that will crack. So this is a common crack. What I don't want to see is cracking with separation or settlement or movement or something that indicates a major structural problem. And that's not what this is. So we've got a crack along there. I would just seal it up with some silicone so water doesn't go into the crack. Got a garage door behind me with a garage door opener. There are 10 steps to inspect a garage door according to InterNACHI's checklist. And that checklist you can put on your inspection software so you don't miss any of the steps. We're gonna do all of them right now. But while I'm looking over here, let's move this out of the way. I'm looking at the interior of the windows of the garage, making sure that there isn't any water intrusion. We talked about sealing up the windows to stop water from going in. And I thought maybe this was water damage, but it's just poor drywall. That's all that is. So you have to be careful not to just call out defects when they're actually not defects. I look for subterranean termites at the bottom of the wall, looking for any kind of water penetration, or carpenter ants. Carpenter ants love rotten wood. I test the receptacles in the garage for GFCI protection. All garage receptacles need to have that protection, just like the exterior receptacles, the bathroom, the kitchen. All right, let's do the garage door. It's a garage door opener. I want to make sure it's not locked before I hit the garage door button, and we've got no locks here, so that's good. So we're able to open up the garage door. Michael, you want to hit the garage door button on the wall there? And a lot of my inspection is just looking and listening. Sounds good, and it looks good. It isn't wiggling, it isn't sounding like it's loose, and so the travel looks good. Let's hit the door again, and I'm gonna trip this safety feature. Garage door is the largest moving object in a home, and it has this safety feature to protect little kids if they're playing out here, because this is a great play area. And if my clients have little children, I want that safety device, which are just two lasers looking at each other. And for something that interrupts the laser beam, it bounces the door back, right? So that's a good thing. The other thing is this door handle. You're supposed to pull it and close the door. Oh, that's nice, it doesn't fall. So it's manual, that's good. So we'll let that click and engage again. And that looks really good. I'll check the wheels, which are on either side of the door, and I'll check the rails, and I'll check the fastening of the rails to the wood components to hold up the garage door. And I'll check the condition of the fasteners and the panels themselves from inside and outside. And then this is plugged in directly to a receptacle, and that's a good thing. Shouldn't be in an extension cord or some poor wiring. So it has to be wired properly, and it looks good. All right, so the garage in total looks in pretty good shape. So I've got my tester in the receptacle, and I'm gonna push this test button, and it's wired properly, but if I push the button, I'm gonna pretend like I'm getting shocked, and it should turn off. And it does. And the reset button is right by Michael. So over there, if you swing around, Michael's gonna reset it. And back here, we're back live again.
When accessible, as this one is, up above the garages is great. This is all closed in, platform on top, lighting and everything. And then what we, again, number one, we look at the roof. It's not raining now, so you look for signs of previous water leaks. And it's very dry up here. No stains, no evidence. Everything looks good. All the vents, everything's open, All great. Now we're in the utility closet, same as the electrical panel where the water heater is located. Here we're inside, and if you just, again, we visually inspect. This is a temperature pressure TPR valve, temperature pressure relief valve. If pressure gets too high, this helps release the pressure. Goes down to the ground, 4 inches off the ground. And in here it's fine, it's a cement floor and all, but recommend it having a catch basin to catch the water, just a recommendation. Everything looks good. Expansion tank releases when water gets overly hot, it will expand quite a bit. Without an expansion tank, that expansion will cause problems. We look for the valves to turn off and on the water, the cold and hot. Not seeing those right here. They must be inside. I think they're in a utility closet actually, but again, I need to identify that to explain that to the homeowner so they are aware of the location if emergency arises. We look just around it fully, and again, just for any other signs of issues. And this one's, everything's dry, everything's very content, and everything looks good.
Okay, Mike, we're in the kitchen. Why don't you just show us what you do in a typical kitchen inspection? Okay. What do you do first?
I just look around, familiarize myself with it. Normally, when I first enter the home, I'll start the dishwasher. Yeah. It's just a short cycle to let it go real quick, and then when I come back to it after it's been running, I can visually check that there is or isn't any leaks.
Okay. All right, let's do that.
Okay, we'll let that run.
Yep. How about the water? Yep, hot and cold.
I turn let it run for a minute. While it's working on the hot, I check it's the mixing valve, make sure that the hot and cold works well.
Yep.
And under here,
what are you looking for under here?
Any leaks. That's your number one, again, the number one culprit. And I like a paper towel to put under because that's a leak detector. You can definitely easily see. But next best thing is putting your hand under it and actually feeling. But again, number one is evidence. If there had been a leak, I'd see evidence of it.
Yep. And there's stuff in there. Your job isn't to move everything.
No, we don't move. We don't. As inspectors, we don't like to move anything. You move. You put your hands on it, and move it. Opens up possibility of damage.
Yeah, it's people's personal property, so we're not touching that. It's really a visual inspection.
It's a visual inspection, 100%. And the mixing valve works good. I just had hot, I had cold.
Great.
Everything is good. No leaks under the sink. Yep. Again, good.
Yep.
Dishwasher's going.
And how about GFCI?
GFCIs are, again, we'll put my tester on it. Boom, there it is.
And there's the reset button.
The reset is right there, and boom, she goes. Okay. And I'll generally hit them all.
All receptacles on the kitchen counter, all counter receptacles.
I do them all.
Protected.
I do all of them. Period. Just because there's always that one. And this one's over here.
Right. And we get this one.
Here. And which one did I miss? I missed that one over there.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
That one's good.
Real good.
Everything. Oh. Perfect. Okay.
That's great. All right, now the stove and oven.
And the stove. Real quick, I turn them on at the same time.
Yep.
And you'll feel it before you see it. Generally, right off the bat, we're good, and then I turn them off. You don't want to leave these on, but you do want to check them. Oven.
And what are we baking today?
We're cake. Hot, fresh air. That's all. And again, you want to just turn it on to make sure the system is operating as intended.
Okay.
There's the bake. Turn that off.
Yep, that's off.
The broil. I think it just starts. Right?
Yep.
Yeah.
There it goes.
There it goes. Good.
So we're going to test the microwave, and you got some special item in there?
I got my famous water. And we turn that on just for a few seconds.
And it lights up.
And it lights up, which is good.
So that's the fancy way of testing the microwave. All right. And so that's the microwave detector from InterNACHI. That's cool.
Yes. I love gadgets.
Yep. Well, here's your gadget back.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
I don't know where to get these, so.
And what's next? What else do we inspect?
Then I go around, I open the cupboards, drawers, make sure that, again, the functionality, function is good.
Yep. And if you see a defect, you'll take a picture of it?
When I see any defect, we like to, if possible, sometimes see where how the cabinets are put together with the right screws.
Yeah.
You know, various ones I've seen, oh, well, we've all seen some put in with sheet metal screws.
Right.
And again, open, close, and secure.
Yeah.
And that's, you know, the microwave got the electrical outlet going up.
Yep.
And
looks good.
Everything looks good. And the same with the drawers, just the cabinets, just making sure everything is smooth.
Yep. And the flooring looks good to you?
Flooring looks good.
I don't see any water damage? Or...
Water damage or cracks or noise is a good evidence that, hey, something might be wrong.
Yeah.
Might not, but again, very solid. You don't feel any, when you're walking, if you got to pay attention, you can feel dips, and, which could indicate issues underneath the house. Yeah. But no, everything looks smooth, feels good.
Great. Okay, let's keep going.
Earlier when we looking at the water heater, as I mentioned, shutoff valve is important to know where. We like to tell the homeowners so they're fully aware of where the shutoff is in case of emergency. It's in this closet right here. It is not labeled, but a simple gate valve, and then that shuts the water off. After, just FYI, after anything like this is shut off, you'll have a little water running still. Don't get panicky, just give it a second till all the water in the lines run out, and then it will stop.
On the outside of the house, we saw that weird looking vent for a chimney, and it's a direct vent. So this is the fireplace on the inside. It's not a wood burning fireplace, you can't throw logs in here. This is a gas fired unit, and it's a contained unit, and it produces a little bit of heat, but don't use it for the actual heating system. So it's nice to look at, and it's very easy to use. The pilot light is on. Home inspectors, we don't like to light pilot lights. What if there's a problem? We're not master plumbers. But if pilot light's on, I'm gonna turn it on, flick of a switch, it lights up. I'm looking for rust, corrosion, damage, cracked glass. This could fog up initially, but it'll burn off afterwards. If it doesn't clear up, then it needs to be cleaned. There's an access panel to the guts of the unit, which is basically main shutoff valve. Every gas appliance should have a shutoff valve in case of emergency. There it is there. There's the pilot light, and there's a little plug, and a fan back there. And the fan can turn on to actually circulate the air. So now there's air being drawn in here. It wraps around this hot box, which is the fireplace, and comes out the top. And so you'll get a little bit of warmth out of here. But me personally, I think it's kind of loud. But everything seems to be working. So I'm gonna turn that off, and that's my inspection. All right, Mike, we're in the master bathroom. And how do you inspect the bathroom? What do you inspect?
Well,
what should we look at?
We look at everything, and we look at right after you walk in, we'll look at the floor, the tile floor, yep, or whatever flooring it is. And again, right here, we're looking at the tile.
So I see missing grout.
We got little small areas of missing grout. Yes, and
that could indicate some loose tiles.
Issue from underneath, or just yeah, it could indicate something. That's correct. So that's why we're going to note it in the report and let them address it.
Yeah, they can groove out the grout and put it back in, or hire somebody to do it.
Right.
Okay. What else? Should we flush the toilet and run some water?
We do check the strength of the toilet, make sure it's in place and not wobbling.
Yep.
We'll look at the edges around for caulking, take a peek in the back, and again, seeing any evidence. Then we'll also flush it.
Yeah, hit that. And I'm going to check the shower, and I'm going to pound on the walls.
Okay, we pound on the walls in the shower to try to indicate any loose tile.
Yep.
Same with the base.
There's a little bit of dirt there, but it's not a structural thing. It's just some dirt.
Yeah.
So, and
paper towel will take care of it.
Without getting too wet.
Again,
I'll run that.
We run the shower heads, and we'll run all the faucets in the sink, bathtub as well, to check for leaks, but then for functional flow.
Yep.
And then we'll flush the toilet as well, just to, you know, if there's a flowing issue, well, that can be an issue and a defect.
Okay. See any leaks under there?
Nothing. No, all good there, leaks wise. And
you want to hit the toilet again? And that looks like functional flow at the shower head.
Good strong flow at the toilet. Again, continuing flow there at the sinks. We normally want to fill the sinks up and let it drain.
All right. Shower looks good.
Sinks, functional
GFCI?
flow, GFCI, and we're good.
So that's off?
That is.
So there's a reset button.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, there it goes. And that should be off now.
That should be off too.
Yep.
The whole bathroom, double check.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So we need to find the reset button for
Yeah,
the home.
find the reset, and that's going to be downstairs most likely.
And above my head is a fan.
Yeah.
That works.
That works. Good.
Sounds good too. And right there is a tub.
Yep.
Okay, and we're going to turn on the hot water and the cold water. On the drain. We're just going to look at the condition of the actual tub itself and look for cracks or chips. And it looks good, and the drain looks good.
Yep. Everything's draining, flowing. No visual signs of any issues, and no noticeable signs of anything. So
Good.
That's good. Yay.
So that's a good bathroom inspection.
Good bathroom inspection. In the same home inspection, we'll do check the windows, inspect the windows, and it's a representative amount of windows, but I like to inspect them all, making sure that they go up, down, and they go up and stay up. You don't want to open the window, whoop, it falls. So make sure they're up. This is not a tilt, so don't worry about that. He's checking screens, look for water, excess of water, again, as normal. Any signs of issues, which are absolutely none. Again, the main purpose is the opening and closing and staying shut.
I think we're going to go up in the attic next.
Okay.
Because I think the air handler's up
Yep,
there.
absolutely.
Because we're going to tell the homeowner that's the air filter in the ceiling that needs to be replaced or at least checked every 30 days.
Yep.
Are ready to go up?
Yep.
All right, let's do it.
Well, we're upstairs in the attic, and where we're going to check the heat pump, the heater. And again, visually, we first check in the pan that the water, the condensation and water will drip into. If it, it catches all that and it's dry, that's good.
So when the air conditioner is running, it's producing condensate.
That's correct.
And if there's a problem, it may leak instead of leaking on the ceilings below, right?
Right.
The idea is to catch the water leak.
Catch the water so we don't do damage to the house.
And what if it just keeps filling up and filling up?
There's a little doohickey
here,
right here.
Yeah.
And that when the water gets up to it, which means if the water's gotten that high, hey, something's not right, so it shuts it off.
Yeah.
It will shut the system off.
Yeah.
And
that's a good thing.
That's a good thing. Otherwise, the water will overflow this pan, and you will find drippage down below.
Yeah. Now they have a place so that this pan can drain, but they didn't install it.
That is correct. Here's the drainage where if that does happen, if done right, they will connect a pipe and run that outside, like they do the condensate right here and drain. Do the same thing, but for whatever reason, that's not done.
They didn't do that, but at least they have the float.
At least, yes, the float is there.
So if I was a homeowner and something's not working, the air conditioner isn't working in the summertime, come up here
first place to check. Yeah,
see if there's water in the pan.
90% of the time that water is going to be to the top.
Okay, so this is a gas-fired forced air heating system.
That's correct. Here's the gas. This is the CSST gas line.
Yep.
The gas valve, drip leg. This is the venting. That goes. That's one of the ones that goes to the through the attic, to the roof.
Yep. And this is a shut-off switch in
the
case it needs to be
serviced
and cleaned.
It shuts the whole thing right off. All the ducts we look at that transfers the air to the inside, supply and return. and we make sure that those are sealed good. If they're not, then air will be escaping, and not only are you going to lose the efficiency of that air, you're not going to get inside. It's going to create temperature issues here in the attic.
And speaking of return and supply, downstairs you're going to do Delta T?
Delta T.
What is that?
Yeah, that's checking the heating and air conditioning. The heat and the cold has a different degree of, they call it Delta T, temperature change. The temperature going, being supplied to the house and versus the temperature exiting, returning. Yeah. And we check both of those.
And there should be a difference.
The deviance of, I think, in air conditioning is 14 degrees.
Yep.
And that's what you want to check to see how close we are to that, again, the efficiency of the system.
And if it's the same, that's no good. No. That means it's not cooling off or heating.
Yeah, that means, open the yellow pages.
Okay, great. Okay, Mike, we're in the attic, and we just finished up the heating and cooling system in the attic, and now we're looking at the attic. And what are the systems or components that you look for, or conditions?
We look for the trusses, which is the makeup of this whole structure. Yeah. The wood, as we look around all the wood, the trusses, we want to make sure that they're solid. There's no notches or cutouts.
Sometimes the homeowner will cut it.
Sometimes they cut it to make room for whatever, and then you just. Imagine standing on two legs, and all of a sudden you have one leg. It's not going to work. Well, you have to rebalance, and that's what you're doing to the house. Yeah. So notches, cutouts takes the strength away, and then we look at the insulation.
It should be fiberglass insulation here.
Fiberglass, yes, it's thick. It's uniform. There's no. It's not missing. Which is, again, all looks very good, and that's what we look at. We look at the sheathing up top, the OSB, the nails, protrusions through the woods and up top, and the duct, all the duct system again, all that stuff.
Now the drywall behind us, that's a shared wall.
That's a shared wall.
Now, when you're in a townhouse community, you have shared walls.
That's correct.
And the walls need to be drywalled or covered in some way so that if there's a fire in your neighbor's house, it doesn't move easily to all of the attic spaces.
It slows it down. So this joining wall you'll see is protected. It's got the drywall.
The
drywall. Yep. And as well, two bays extending into this house. Yep. And again, those two right up there, and again, that's also drywall, so it's a little bit extra further protected.
Another safety feature for those townhouses.
Yes, absolutely.
Yep, great.
And then the vents, and while we're here in the attic, that's what we look at, and making sure the openings are good.
And now the entire floor in the attic isn't floored. A lot of it is just open like that, so there's an inspection restriction. We can't really walk around and see everything because it's not floored. It's not very safe.
Correct. And we try to note that. We look with the flashlights and as far as we can, but it's just not safe to walk over and inspect the entire area off of the platform of which we're walking on. Yeah. You can step across and hit each 2x4, but the first time you slip, you're going to meet the people downstairs.
That's right. So it's nice to have the flooring for the homeowner because they like to throw storage up here. Yeah. But don't throw storage on top of insulation.
No, it's going to come right back down.
Okay. So what we're doing is we're using a laser thermometer to test the difference between the in and the out. The in of a HVAC system should be the air temperature, the ambient air temperature. So it's about 76 degrees in here today. But the out, when it's in cooling mode, should be a lot cooler than that. And that's what I've got. I've got 64 degrees and dropping. And now back over here, here's the intake where the air filter is. And that's the air temperature of the house. So we're in the 70s. Okay? And this is where also the air filter is.
The filter.
And we got the air filter.
Clean.
And it's installed in the correct way. It's clean. However, some people are really sensitive to dust, and air quality is an issue for some people. And so when you have construction debris inside your ductwork and no one knows about it, and people are sneezing, or they have maybe headaches and they're not sure why, maybe you want to get this cleaned by a professional, HVAC duct cleaning professional. And this is really good for home buyers, occupants, even renters. So if you're going to rent a place and you're sensitive to some things like I am, you may want to get your home inspector to check the ductwork, or you could do it yourself. Well, Michael, we're at the end of the inspection, and if I were your client, you'd be summarizing everything with me, right?
Yep.
And all of that stuff is going to be in the report anyways, but you
correct.
like to talk to people about what was found during the inspection and what to do about it.
Yes. The report is generated based on the whole walkthrough we just did, the information we developed, the pictures we've taken, and all that's in the report in easy to read, easy to understand language.
Yeah.
There's at times when issues can be found or spotted. We even have illustrations to provide extra ability to understand. Besides, we write it clear.
Yeah.
But I like to go over it first with the homeowners, just to prepare them. What I found, the good, the bad, whatever. But and a good explanation. So when they do read it, they're prepared.
And when do I get the report?
I like to have the report within 24 hours.
That's nice.
There's some instances where, and I know if it's coming up, whether it's business or something else going on, 2 days, but I pride myself in 24 hours.
And do you write this entire report by hand, or you use software?
Use the software. Yeah. Oh my gosh, thank God. Yeah, the software makes it a lot easier.
Yeah. And you use HomeGauge?
I use HomeGauge software. Correct.
Software.
That is correct.
You're going to give your clients all the pictures that you took?
Not all the pictures, just, the pictures are nice in the report, but it makes the report way too long.
Yeah.
They know what it looks like, but if there's a defect, I take a picture of that defect, circle it and everything, so they can read it and understand it and know the issue at hand.
Right, that's the real important thing. Like the problems that need to be addressed.
That's
right?
all.
There's a lot of good stuff in the inspection report, but the problems need to be addressed so they don't become really big problems.
And that's our job. We check the health of the home. We're detectives and we're doctors.
Detectives and doctors of the home.
We try to detect the issues. We go around and above and below to detect anything, and then a doctor, we try to sum it up as far as the health. Hey, here's what we need to do.
That's really great. You must take really good care of your clients.
I try my best.
That's awesome. All right. Well, again, Michael, it was a really great inspection. Thank you for helping me out and inspect this home.
Thank you very much.
I'm Ben from InterNACHI.
Michael with Ozborne Home Inspections.
And we'll see you at the next home inspection. Bye, everybody.